Mr. Chancellor, Dennis Tupman is an honorand in today's ceremony. Professor Juliana Saxton, the University Orator, has prepared a citation and will now present it.
Mr. Chancellor, it is my great pleasure to introduce Dennis Frank Tupman, musician, educator, conductor, director, adjudicator, speaker, writer, philosopher, arts advocate, family man, and humanitarian. A man who has done more than one person could be expected to accomplish in a lifetime, and he is still busy. Reading the story of Dennis Tupman's professional career from elementary and secondary school teacher in rural Kitimat to, among other positions, president of the National Association of Canadian Music Educators, is to be reminded in a benign way of the story of the Pied Piper of Hamelin. Dennis is a man with a great passion for the arts and the knowledge of what they can do and mean for children and adults. A skillful player whose musical intelligence was placed not just in the service of that art, but of all the arts, visual arts, dance, drama, and theater education. It was not just the big picture that drove him. He was equally driven to help so many individuals with his encouragement and tangible efforts on their behalf. A selfless man who willingly shared his passions and knowledge, he was a role model to educators who promote the arts as central to the development of all human beings. As district principal of performing arts for the city of Vancouver, he guided, advised, provided direction when needed, and above all, listened and took action in order to promote his vision for arts education in this province and across the nation. Mr. Tupman was a benign piper, but no pushover. It was in his battles with school boards that he showed his mettle, wrestling with the equivalent of Hamlin Town's mayor and councilman to get trustees to pay up for programs in band and choir, for artists, instruments, performance spaces, and festivals. Feats joyously celebrated in a series of cartoons by UVic's art professor Bob Dalton captioned Tupman's Tough Tactics. But in addition, in the 1990s, when success was fully attained, the pendulum swung in the other direction, and he found himself back in the boardrooms, battling financial cuts to his dearly earned, flourishing arts programs. Through all the consequent ups and downs, mainly downs, of arts funding, he has never lost heart. Arts advocacy will always be with us in this changing world, he points out, because change is a process and not an event that passes. Dennis has strong connections to this city and to our university. He attended Vic High School and then Victoria Normal School before attaining his Bachelor and Masters of Education through UBC, serving there in 1963 as UVic Professor Emeritus Frank Churchley's teaching assistant in a summer session. Dennis Tupman's influence on arts programs provincially has had a profound effect on Victoria arts teachers and the programs and students that they teach at elementary, secondary, and university levels. For his leadership by example and his years of service, he has received a number of awards and honoring memberships, such as the Governor General's Award for Lifetime Arts Leadership in 1995, and the Arts Council of British Columbia's Special Award for Lifetime Arts Leadership in 1999. And in 2010, he was presented with the Coalition for Music Education in Canada Award. In his retirement, Dennis is happy to garden, read, debate, follow hockey, and advocate. Heart problems have stimulated an interest in nutrition and brain research that he now shares at senior citizen symposia. He has picked up his alto sax again to play with the 100 Mile House Community Band. He sings with the community choir there and is a lay minister for the United Church. This unique British Columbian continues to make, in Robert Browning's words, the wonderful music that leads us to a joyous land. Long may you play that land into existence, Mr. Tupman, for it will come. It must come. Mr. Chancellor, I consider it a great honor and privilege to present to you in this convocation Dennis Frank Tupman, the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Mr. Chancellor, I now ask on behalf of the Senate of this university that you confer on Dennis Tupman the title and degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
By the authority of the Senate of this university, I confer upon you, Dennis Tupman, the title and degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
It's now my pleasure to invite Dr. Tupman to address the convocation.
Assembled children, Chancellor, President, faculty and staff, graduate and guests, friends and family, ladies and gentlemen. Klahawa, Klahavia, Omata, good morning. As Henry James said, we work in the dark, we do what we can, we give what we have. Our doubt is our passion, and our passion is our task. The rest is the madness of art. The madness of art. Oh, to be so mad. Words, our archaeological verbal dig. Universe, one song. Person, sounding through. Hail, sounding well. Folks, while I have had the privilege of helping in all the arts and education for these many years, I'm going to focus now, in the interest of time available, on music and music education in the lives, specifically of children of all age. So first, as educators and learners, let us join together in song, the giant mystical elephant in the room. You all know the words of Good Morning to You, Good Morning to You. We're all in our places with sunshiny faces. This is the way we start a new day. We've mentioned about First Nations people. They would never begin any event other than with music, a welcoming song. Let us be this ours then. As the leader from Arkansas said, let's all sing. With gusto, excellent intonation, clear enunciation, correct Canadian inflected vowels, and superb breath support, let's all sing. Good morning to you, good morning to you. We're all in our places with sunshiny faces. This is the way we start a new day. It needs a bit of work. When in doubt, law, always. Without sounding too much like being in the Academy Awards, God forbid, I wish to say a sincere thank you to you all. First of all, thank you for coming. 80% of life, said Woody Allen, is showing up. Thank you especially to my family, my 3 daughters, Rachel, Allison, and her husband, Brad. One teacher daughter, Denise, who is out of town and could not make it today to her regret. She's here in spirit. And my wife, Ruth, who both puts up with me. And finally, my niece, Donna, and grandniece, Julie, and her partner, Tim. Thank you, family. Thank you to the UVic faculty and staff who have made these arrangements for this event. I am humbled indeed by this whole enterprise. To all my music education friends and colleagues, I say, we are all in community. That is my focus in this doctorate award. We all share in this occasion. To assist me, I will now draw from a particular classic music text of great depth. In professorial nomenclature, this song will provide a useful epistemological rubric in which I may frame my 5-minute in-depth address. The song, of course, you knew it all, is Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Now, this song is metaphorical. As we know, and I will give this complex, at times contradictory, paradoxical text my spin, as well as my apologies to Dr. Wayne Dyer. Now the text. Row, row, row. Certainly, in existential terms, we are all human beings, to be granted, not just human doings. Row, row, row. There's an insistence there to do, to act. We must keep rowing. There are certain implicit problems in that, however. We need time for something else, and we will get to that later in this text. However, indeed, as a community, we have had, and still have had, in music education and the arts, to strive, no matter what obstacles we have encountered. And indeed, as Juliana said, there have been many. In fact, I would say it's constant. My community of music educators, then, is certainly strong on the row, row, row score. There is hardly a more consistently type A, passionately driven group of workers, or should I say rowers. Rehearsals at all times of the day, concerts, oh, those many concerts, and all that careful preparation for presentations that are immediately publicly criticized and scrutinized. Your boat. We are told in life that eventually we must paddle our own canoe. It's called growing up. We have to steer our own course. Alice Miller would say we have to get past our introjected cathexis. We must know ourselves. In current parlance for the New Agers, be authentic. Je pense que je suis. Music teachers teach so very much who they are. So it's not an option to just know about it. You have to be who you are. Kids will see through right away if you're not authentic. And the music, therefore, becomes a dialogue between the makers of the music and the leaders of the music. Synchronistic. Gently, Our second contradiction. While we have to work hard, we must know, as Stephen Levine, the enlightened writer, said, when to mercy ourselves. It is almost axiomatic that arts educators are depressives. And that's okay, because the black dogs can be kept at bay with entering into that enterprise with our children. If we do not mercy ourselves, otherwise we will sink into guilt and self-recrimination and be kept from our own souls as we feel that we fall, or mostly fall, short. Down the stream, while we're fighting upstream and rowing and rowing and rowing, sometimes we have to just be still. My mother, who would counsel me on this, and we always believe in our mothers in the final sense, one's final authority when in doubt. Certainly we must strive hard and sometimes go against popular opinion, against the stream. Be an independent, critical thinker. But we must also know when to go with the flow. To let go and let God, as my mother said. Wise words. Wisdom to know the difference between what Kenny Rogers would say, when to hold them. You see, you've been listening to music. Watch out, it can destabilize you, but that's okay. It's all about love. Now comes the only time he uses 4 words as an admonition. Merrily, 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 merrily. Life. This is perhaps our most important admonition. The Dalai Lama said we must seek happiness. We must be the happiness. Sometimes we have to be outrageous and silly and pray that we will never grow up. My wife would say, attest to that. Things are not as they seem. Oops, I've skipped down here, and now how challenging it is to, given what bombards us now through the various media. It's a pretty grim scene out there, but we must be merry, 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 because life is but a dream. Many philosophers from Plato to Jean Baudrillard have told us that all is illusion or simulation. Things are not as they seem. We are encouraged to follow our dreams. But can we do otherwise, since all might be a dream? Do we really know why we are here as humans? What is our purpose? What is it all about, Alfie, anyway? But we live our dreams anyway. Maybe, indeed, we are really only dreams. So there you have it. Now, let's, with slowness and meditation, sing that classic. And as the words go by, internalize them. Indeed, go away and stay up tonight in your dreams and think about all the existential implications in this very contradictory, complex, and wonderful text. So slowly and meaningfully, let us now sing. Row, 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 row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat, row, row, row your boat, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. life is but a dream. Isn't it wonderful? Music just warms the hall. Thank you, everyone, for this time to be with you and to celebrate music and music education in our lives. Thank you to the children for being there to work with. Thank you also for all those who advocate for that mystery we call music. Nobody's ever successfully defined it. And for music education, especially for the young in today's world, with all of its fragmentation, dehumanizing, and hyperintensity. I share this doctorate with all of you. Thank you.